Here.
Robert Zand.
Here.
Edward Boyaga.
Here.
Carl Zero.
Here.
Andy Gianelli.
Here.
Charles Lang.
Here.
Mark Mulawati.
Here.
Carol Massaro.
Here.
Jesse Caluso. Richard Iannini.
Here.
15 present and a quorum.
Do we have any correspondence, please?
Yes, we do. I have a letter addressed to you from Gene Rocco. Dear Councilman McKay, in April 2007, I contacted Town Hall pursuant with the provisions of Connecticut's Freedom of Information Act, requesting documentation reflecting Mayor Joseph Maturo's attendance records and work schedule. Based on a review of the information received, I believe an investigation was required to determine why Mr. Maturo took 10 weeks of vacation, mostly out of state, during the last fiscal year. During a year where East Haven residents received a tax hike, Mr. Maturo apparently thought he was entitled to spend months vacationing in Florida. Also, as chairman of the Board of Finance for the last 10 years, Mr. Maturo has missed 122 of the 131 meetings. A principal responsibility of the position of mayor is to attend and preside over these meetings. As per the town charter, Mr. Maturo's attendance at these meetings is not optional. In the past, the town council has acted to remove appointed board members for reasons related to their attendance. In order to resolve these very disturbing matters, I respectfully request that you assign my letter to the appropriate town council subcommittee for investigation. My request for this process is indeed germane, as it goes to the expenditure of public funds and the ethical conduct of an elected official. Please, therefore, investigate this matter and set it down for a meeting at your earliest convenience. Cordially, Gene Rocco. I have a second letter to the council from Doreen Diadio, owner of Lookers Embroidery. Dear Chairman McKay and all members of the Honorable Town Council, I am writing to voice my opposition over the plan to change the name of Wheelbarrow Lane. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend this meeting as I was notified of it several hours ago. I question why, as a business owner and taxpayer, I was not properly notified of this meeting in a timely manner. A name change for the street was proposed over 10 years ago when the high school was constructed. As I expressed then, my property on Wheelbarrow Lane not only contains my residence, but my business as well. Changing the name of the street would create a financial hardship on my business. I would incur the cost of changing letterhead, shipping labels, logos, and checking accounts, just to name a few items. It would also involve my time and efforts away from my business to call credit card companies, suppliers, and customers, not to mention lost revenue from missed route orders and unnecessary confusion. These are serious implications for me as a small business owner and taxpayer in the state. In addition to the cost to me as a business owner, there will be costs incurred by all taxpayers to change all paperwork to the high school as well. 13 years ago, the Democratic administration in power listened to my concerns and decided that renaming the street was unnecessary, and in light of the burden it would create, not a good idea. I urge this council to do the same. Take under consideration the interests of taxpayers and small businesses against this name change. Thank you for your consideration. Doreen Diadio. That's all I have.
Mr. Chairman, I have correspondence to be read. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a correspondence to Mayor Maturo. Dear Chairman McKay and members of the Town Council, I understand there has been a request for a legislative subcommittee inquiry into the issue of my vacation time, as well as my attendance at Board of Finance meetings. The issue has been the subject of some newspaper accounts in recent weeks, and I believe it is important for you and the members of the Town Council to have all the relevant information on the issue. Of course, first noteworthy consideration is the source of the request for such an inquiry, along with the timing of the request. Chairman of the Democratic Town Committee, several months before the election, desperate to find an issue for the campaign, has resorted to distorting the truth about my vacation time and making outright false statements about the requirements of the charter relating to my role with the Board of Finance. Of course, these attacks are veiled attempts in avoiding honest discussion of the issues. As Mr. Rocco knows, over the past 10 years, East Haven has stabilized finances, increased services, revitalized the central business district, and increased the town's grand list of expanded and new businesses throughout the town. Mr. Rocco would prefer not to discuss these accomplishments and focus on the number of Board of Finance meetings that I attend and distorting my vacation schedule. The town chart provides that I am the chairman ex officio of the Board of Finance. The board serves as a financial advisor to me as mayor and to the town council. My role at the meetings of the Board of Finance is to cast a vote only in the event of a tie. I have great confidence in the Board of Finance. In the 10 years I have served as mayor, there has been no occasion where my vote has been necessary to break a tie vote of the board. Although I do not routinely attend these meetings of the Board of Finance, I'm always briefed on the matters before the Board of Finance Director and Director of Administration and Management, both of whom attend the meetings to report on the financial matters addressed by the board. As a result, I am always apprised of the financial considerations as I make my recommendations to the council on the issues from the Board of Finance. There is no requirement in the charter that my role as ex officio chairman I must attend all meetings of the board. In fact, the prior charter named the mayor as an ex officio member of the town council, but it has always been the practice of the prior mayors not to attend the meetings of the council on a routine basis. The ex officio status has limited roles to vote only in instances where there is a tie. Fully supports my decision to allow the Board of Finance, the Board of Independence, in making its financial recommendations. During the last 10 years, the town has moved from one with the highest of mill rates of the surrounding communities to the second lowest in mill rate. I have always attributed this to a team effort between my office, the Board of Finance, and this town council. You should not construe my absence from meetings of the board as indifference or ignorance of the financial considerations. I am always fully apprised of the financial recommendations and take them into consideration as I forward recommendations to the council. The proof is in the results achieved, not in the number of meetings that I attend. With respect to my vacations and the issue of redaction of some of my calendar, the answer is quite simple. Mr. Rocco lumps the vacations taken in the 2006 calendar year and those taken in the 2007 calendar year, and distorts them for purely political motives. As the council is aware, the town operates on a fiscal year that runs between July 1st and June 30th. That 12-month fiscal year obviously spans the last 6 months of one calendar year and the first 6 months of the next calendar year. Vacations are considered on the basis of the calendar and not fiscal year. As a result, notwithstanding the baseless charges by Mr. Rocco, nothing improper has occurred with respect to my vacations. Moreover, while Mr. Rocco attempts to make a big deal about some redacted items from my calendar, Mr. Rocco, those matters relate to some personal matters, including physician appointments, court matters relating to my divorce, and similar personal issues. Mr. Rocco's belief that these are the real issues that need to be debated over the course of this campaign is a clear sign of desperation. In closing, Mr. Chairman, while I recognize the Chair's authority to request a subcommittee to investigate any legitimate matter within the Council's jurisdiction, I submit to you that Mr. Rocco's request does not merit any serious consideration. Thank you sincerely, Joseph Ventura, Jr.
I have a comment to make. I have considered the request of Mr. Rocco and the response by Mayor Ventura. It is obvious that the request is politically motivated, and even more obvious that the request has absolutely no merit. As such, the request does not merit further review, and I will not be appointing a subcommittee to consider the matter. Item number 1.
Be it resolved that per the recommendation of the tax collector, the following tax refunds are hereby approved. A. Bobby Farrow, $1,948.09. B. Ronald J. Vestudi, $1,634.46. C. Barbara Connell, $1,707.58.
Second on that, please. Councilman Caruso. Any comments from the public? Back to the council. Roll call.
All in favor?
Item number 2, Bob.
Be it resolved that per the recommendation of the tax collector, the following tax abatement is hereby approved. Town of East Haven, 45 Griswold Street, 2005-10004422, $946.77.
Second on that, Councilman Cunningham. Anybody has any comments from the public? This is a piece of property that the town foreclosed on and we're paying the taxes. It's a town. Have a roll call, please.
All in favor?
Item number 3.